Hello again, welcome back to Asgard, and welcome back to FTB Interactions. So, since last episode, I have started putting together some of the color scheme of this build, but it's nowhere near done. Because basically once I get all these walls put in, I've got to go through with little tiles, and because they're just kind of plain color at the moment, and that's not what I want. So we'll fix that. And then we've got an ice floor, and then I've got these ism blocks beneath that, just to kind of, I didn't want the stone texture down there like showing through the ice, so I just kind of give it that dark green color. Also, since the last episode, let's see, I have, we're going to check this out. It's going to be like a little short side episode thing whenever we do this. But if we pop over, I have found a sand desert, which is actually the only desert that we hadn't found. We haven't fully explored a water one, but the water and sand ones are the only ones that we haven't explored on camera so far. So, I did explore a little bit of a water one, but of course the footage bugged. So, and I didn't explore a whole lot of it just because it was so hard to see down there. But I did find a sand desert, so we're going to check that out. And then I also did do another ice dungeon. Like right there's a sand dungeon, and I went off and up. Let's see, it was like right up in right here. You can see there's a little ice dungeon right there. I did go through one of those, and I only grabbed the really good stuff out of there, which actually I think most of the really good stuff out of there I have on me. I got another set of airtight seal 4 slime boots, sort of decay that shoots slowness splash potions with life mending on it. Another set of boots of the traveler, a pirate hat with protection 1 and aqua affinity, water candle. Increases nearby spawns when it's lit. And then I also got a ceiling sigil and a twilight cloak. Makes you invisible in darkness from Reliquary. And then a frostbringer, rapid fire, snow and ice. But yeah. And I killed another Gorgon. That's actually where this Ender Shard links to, is another Gorgon temple. And I did kill another one of those. So, of course, nothing crazy exciting there, but anyways, today we're going to continue on with progression. And I don't know why, as soon as I start recording, it's like my internet's like, oh, wait a second, wait a second, we're waiting on server now. I don't know why that is, but anyways, we left off. Oh, and I got up to level 60 again. I enchanted a new Thaumium sword, because the last one we just stuck sharpness 1 on it. This one I ended up with a looting 5, sharpness 7, fire aspect 3, and knockback 4. Not bad. It's not a bad sword. I'm pretty happy with that, and we'll use that, especially the looting 5. It's going to be really useful for us, to say the least. But anyways, I want to continue on with progression, because when we left off, before we went adventuring, we had just gotten LV machine hulls. Well, actually, get the effect of ice through this chest. That's interesting. But getting into LV is going to unlock a lot of possibilities for us. We can really start into some heavy magic. Now we can make like Essentia smelteries and things like that for Thaumcraft, and we can make some of the really nice stuff, because I would like to get a Tome of Knowledge. That's one of the big things that I'd like to go for, which requires, this actually isn't that bad. We could technically craft the Starlight Crafting Altar, but we're going to need to be able to get Electrum and Flawless Emeralds and Lapis Plates, and that would just be a whole lot easier to do if we have LV, because we can start processing gems. And I mean, I don't know, there's so much we can do. We can also get 1-to-1 plate creation. We can make wires a whole lot easier. We can start moving into the thermal dynamics, or thermal logistics. That's what I'm trying to think of. We can start moving into thermal logistics. We can, I don't know, there's just a whole lot of stuff. So we'll go ahead and dive on into this, and I think the first things we're going to need to do, which actually my tree beacon system is not running at the moment. Sphere shut it off today. I did have to cheat in a new tree beacon, but that's just to replace the one that he removed because it was causing lag. Basically, I'm getting so much assorted random junk that everything's just, it's dumping just loose items, because of course my crates are set to void. Well, these 3 are set to void overflow, but my tree farm is generating so much other stuff like this, and lots of just random crops and and different things. And I clean this out pretty often, but it's dropping so many random crops. So none of that's running at the moment. So just a heads up there, but we have so much backed up low-grade charcoal that I don't think it's really a concern for us. And we're going to be totally redoing this whole system before too long, because we're going to, for one, we're going to be using item ducts to move the stuff. But we're also going to move away from the tree beacon and get a better form of wood farming that's not so unstable. And we're also going to be making charcoal with wood instead of low-grade charcoal, and just a lot of stuff that we're going to be doing with that system. And of course, this was all just kind of a temporary setup. But for right now, we're going to use this as we get our new stuff set up. So I think the first thing that we need to do is we're going to need to make some turbines, like these basic steam turbines. That way we can utilize the steam from our system and actually start using that for power. And you can see, of course, in true GregTech style, we're going to be making a lot of machine parts. And we've actually got a couple completed quests. The white candle, yeah, we get a smart chicken for that. We should go ahead and turn these in real quick. Also, alumentum, we get 4 times Mobius fuel. And then yellow nitor, we get 4 yellow nitor and sausage in bread for that. Let me go dump these off real quick. We can also get a basic AE system up and going. Now that we're at LV, which is going to be so useful. And we can start making caches as well. Let's see, the AO technology. There's a quest here. I thought we had already completed this. But anyways, this says, or no, I think I'd looked at it. But anyways, it says, welcome to Microcrafting Hail. GregTech relies heavily on the idea of subcomponents to introduce complexity and resource cost to the items it can create. If you attempt to craft these components as needed, you will quickly find yourself in an endless cycle of microcrafting. This can become extremely frustrating and detracts heavily from the enjoyment of the pack. The way to approach this concept in GregTech is to craft in bulk rather than microcrafting. Always overproduce, you will use them eventually. This questline will help you determine which items you should bulk craft for each tier, and additionally alleviate a small portion of the grind by returning some of these subcomponents used to craft them. Okay. So the LV age, we need to get an LV machine hull. Oh, that's right, we already upgraded these to hulls. Okay, my bad. It took it a second to recognize it, so. So anyways, we can see that for here, they want us to make 16 integrated logic circuits. And they're going to give us wood planks, resistors, red alloy cables, and vacuum tubes. Then over here, they want us to make 40 electric motors, an LV electric pump, LV conveyor module, LV electric piston, and LV robot arm. And so this is where we're going to start, because we're going to need a lot of this stuff. We are. So let's go ahead, and I guess we're going to start with the electric motors. And there's no, like, workstations or anything like that, is there? I don't think there's, like, an equivalent to the, like, the forestry work tables. So, what we're going to be looking at, let's see. Alright, here we go. This is where it gets intense with some GregTech. So they want 40 electric motors. You know, I actually don't think, because we're going to be making so much copper wire, and I don't think we should even start into the microcrafting stuff until we get the wire mill. Because that's just going to make our lives a whole lot easier, because otherwise I'm going to be making a plate, plus using wire cutter durability to make a copper wire. So we should, I think, go straight for like the wire mill and the plate crafter, I can't remember the name of it. And possibly, let's see, possibly a couple other things. Yeah. So we're gonna focus on that first, and then we'll finish out that quest in bulk craft to make the rest of our machines, I think. So we'll start with the wire mill, I think. Well, first I have to start with a steam turbine. That's the first thing I need to start with. So we're going to need an integrated logic circuit, which is some red alloy cables, which we're going to have to make red alloy wire for this, which is copper and redstone to make that right now. So let's go ahead and make ourselves just, I'm going to go ahead and make 5 of them. No, let's make 10. Yeah, I've got some more redstone. Those Gorgon temples are actually really good places for redstone because you get so many blocks of redstone that it's quite useful. It's quite useful indeed. And that quest wants us to make 16 of them. I don't think we're going to do that just yet. Okay, resistors, we're going to need copper wire or fine copper wire. We're not going to be able to pull that off just yet. So we're going to be using copper wire, paper, and coal dust. So I'm going to go ahead and get some copper plates going. There's our red alloy ingots. And we're going to have to actually turn these into plates too. Let me go ahead and do... I guess maybe I should have made a list of all the things that we would need for this or something. Let's see, wood planks. We're going to need sawdust or wood dust. Or wood pulp. Which we can pulverize. Yeah, okay. Let me get some wood. And I'm going to have to go get some sticky resin so that we can make this. But that's no biggie. There's our copper plates. Let's go ahead and get some red alloy plates going. And then I'm going to throw this into the macerator. And I'm hoping it doesn't push it into the forge hammer. Okay, I was able to pull some out, so... Okay, and then we're also going to need a bunch of tin plates, tin rings, tin rods. Okay. Yeah, it looks like it did push it into the forge hammer, but it didn't do anything with it, so that's no biggie. Okay, so we're going to need to get ourselves a couple copper wires. We'll go with that. And then we're also going to need... let's see. Well, that makes 3 at a time, so there's 6. Let's see, we've got vacuum tubes. Isn't that what I needed? I'm not sure where I got these from. Probably from a quest, maybe? Yeah, I'm going to need sticky wood, wood planks. Okay, I need to run this stuff through the compressor, actually. There's not too much reason, I don't think, to microcraft too much until we get the machines to make it cheaper on resources, because otherwise we're just basically throwing away a ton of resources. But once we get these basic machines out of the way, then it'll be time to really go crazy with some microcrafting because, or some bulk crafting, because it's going to be so expensive. Okay, now I've got the stuff to make our red alloy wire. So there's 2 of those, and I think that's all I actually needed for this, right? No, I'm going to need 3 for that. Okay, let me get some more of those crafting up. Let's see, our compressor, there's our wood planks. That should be plenty for right now. And let me go ahead and do that. There's our coated circuit boards. So there's 9 of those. Okay, and there's 3 red alloy wire. Okay, so there's 3 of those. Let me move all these. We're going to need to get ourselves like a little dedicated spot for crafting all this stuff. Resistors, vacuum. Okay, I think we've got everything for this. We just need a steel plate, which I've got those. There we go. There's our very first integrated logic circuit. Yay. Okay, task completed as well. Oh, right here. And they want us to also get a basic electronic circuit, which we're not going to be able to do that until we get to an assembler. So, that's fine. Okay, so we've got that. And then we're going to need, let's see, 110 cable. We're also going to need the LV machine hull. And we're going to need a couple of these medium bronze pipes. I'm actually going to steal one of these from down here that we're not actually using, at least at the moment. That is the one to the extractor. And there's actually not that many recipes. We haven't really used the extractor for much of anything, and I don't think we're going to, at least at the moment. So we'll go ahead and steal that one. Okay, and that just leaves this stuff here, which I can get the 10 cables fairly easily. Because that's just some more of that black carpet. And then we're going to have to get the 10 rotors, which take 10 screws. And I'm going to need 2 of those. I'm also going to need these right here, which take more 10 cables. So I don't know if I have quite enough of that stuff running. I know I'm going to need more because I still don't have the wire mill. and we're gonna have to get that. But I'm trying to keep cost to a minimum until we get to where we need to be, so that costs go down quite a bit. Okay, so I'm gonna need 4 of the 10 rods, and then we're going to need the saw. I'm gonna cut down 2 of those, and then we're going to make, and this will probably be one of the only episodes where we do much microcrafting on camera, just because it's our first time doing the microcrafting, so we might as well show it once. But I'm not going to do a whole lot of this on camera because you do so much. Of course, we'll probably just be doing bulk crafting once we get the wire meal and stuff. It's just I don't want to waste all those resources. I'd rather waste the time, I guess. Let's see, 10 plates. And then we'll go ahead and get some more of these. We'll need them, so. And they're so cheap anyways. Okay, so let's get our 10 rotors. There's 1. There's 2. Those go right there. And now we just need our electric motors, which take iron rods, magnetic iron rods, which is going to take redstone. Okay, so we're going to need, you can do steel, but not much reason to do that. Yeah, let's go with, we're going to need 6 iron rods, and then 8 redstone. And chances are I'm going to need to make some more of this stuff here in just a moment, but that's fine. Okay, so there's that. And then 2 of these are going to turn into magnetic ones. So there's those. And then we're going to need a lot of copper cables. We're going to need 8 plates, 8 copper plates, and then 4 tin plates, which we've got those. So we'll go ahead and make the 10 wires. Or the 10 cables, I mean. Oh, I actually already had some, looks like. That's fine. That's fine if we have a little bit extra. But what I'm probably going to do is just make a chest here, like an upgrade chest that's connected to some crafting stations, probably sitting in the center, and we'll put all of our parts in there and use crafting stations for doing all these bits and bobs that we're going to have to be making. So, let's see. Do I not have any copper plates? I don't guess I do. So let me go ahead and just make up 15 copper plates. Because I know we're going to need more of these, because we're going to have to make electric motors for some other stuff too, so. There we go. And that's going to get us our steam turbine once that stuff's done. Now, in addition, if we take a look here, we can wait on the alloy smelter. I think what we're going to do is we're going to go for the basic bending machine and the wire mill first. I think those are the number one things that we should go for. Then after that, we'll get into the macerator and kind of getting more from our ore processing system than what we have at the moment. So the bending machine looks like we're going to need that stuff we've got. We're going to need 2 more of these integrated logic circuits. And then we're going to, for the wire mill, we're going to need 2 more of them. Okay, so I'm going to start there. Once we get this turbine made. I'll probably make some of this stuff off camera now. I've showed it to you, and it's basically just a matter of running around making the parts, making all the things. But let's see, I'm going to need some copper wires, and I'm going to need 8 of these. And then we can get our electric motors. There's 2 of those, and then we can get our steam turbine. And is there not a quest for this? There is, right here, the basic steam turbine. But they either want us to get the high pressure steam. Yeah, it says it takes 5 of these to fully power an LV steam turbine. There's also this one. We'll make those. I'm not too worried about fully powering it. I just want the bare... I just want it to... I want to be able to make wires and plates without using so many materials for it. So... That's our objective at the moment. Okay, so I'm going to make the integrated circuits and a couple other things for the wire mill and the bender. And I will be back here in just a minute. Oh wow, I'm going to need so much red alloy. Okay, I'll be back here in just a minute. Oh, and I was just about to, I was working on this right here. And I decided I'm going to make two, and then I'm going to make a wire mill, because making these red alloy cables for this gets expensive. It really, really does. So we're going to go for the wire mill first, I think. But anyways, I was making some more vacuum tubes, and they changed it up. So steel ingot, once you get this, you complete the quest instead of needing to go this route first. And we actually get 4 vacuum tubes, as well as a breakfast burrito and a thaumium pickaxe head, which is useful. So I'm just going to toss that stuff in there for now. And guess what? There we go. There's our integrated logic circuits. 2 of those. And then back to looking at the wire mill, 10 cables and electric motors. That's not too bad, actually. A lot of iron and stuff, but that's not so bad. So, okay, I'll be back here in just a second once I get this stuff crafted up. Okay, so now we should be good to craft this. So let's go ahead and we'll get our 4 electric LV motors. Oh, I used the 10. Okay, I'm going to need some more 10. Just a little bit more and then we'll be good. The wire mill is going to help so much. And it makes other things other than just wires. So it will be very, very useful. Okay, there is our basic wire mill. Woot. And we completed a quest. And we get 32 1 times annealed copper wires. We'll take it. That way we've got something. Even though it's MV, we can use that to move stuff. Like to move power. So, but you can see the loss per block is 2. But if we were to coat rubber on it, which we're going to have to use an assembler, we can't use carpet for that. We can get it down to loss per block is 1 on that. So, but anyways, right now I don't think we actually even need any cabling. Because I think I can just butt these up against the steam turbine for now. It's going to be a very awkward setup, but it'll work for the time being. We're going to set this up like right there. And you can see it's building up power at the moment. So there we go. And then we can set our wire mill. It's going to have to... Well, let me see something here. You can break these with any pick. Actually, let me use the thaumium pick. Yeah, that's a whole lot quicker. Yeah, it looks like we are going to have to use cables to pull this out. So we're just going to pull some power out right there. And then if we set our wire mill up, I think we can rotate that. If we had the wrench, we could rotate the output on it. But that's that little nozzle right there. That's what that is. But anyways, our wire mill now has power, and I can put in the red alloy, and you can see it's going to burn. It's going to break that down and turn it into red alloy wires. Now, right now, since we don't really have the most efficient setup, we only have 1 steam turbine and only 2 coal boilers. We're not going to be able to make a whole lot at once because we can't upkeep the power consumption that we're going to need to run this stuff. You know, as far as we can't make enough steam right now. But it's going to make our resource usage a whole lot cheaper doing it this way than, you know, basically having to craft down into plates to then get the red alloy wire. It's just way too expensive to do it that way. It's way too expensive. Okay, now I've got these blocks of redstone. Let me go ahead and break these down. I should have grabbed some copper because we're going to need some more red alloy. And I'm hoping that this doesn't block it. I don't think it will. Ah, it does block it. Well, in that case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this for now. This is going to be a really cool setup for now. Okay, and I need to go grab my wrench real quick. Okay, and I'm going to make let's see, the circuits. The one I'm wanting to make is the integrated logic circuit. I'm going to make 3 more of these. Because we're going to need, I got to thinking, we're going to need 3 for the, for what I want to make next, basically. So, let's go ahead and do that. It's so much faster, right? It's so much faster and cheaper and just so much better. Like all around. Just going straight for that wire mill because you make so many wires and having to do them with plates. Of course, you're only getting 2 plates per 3 ingots. And then you're only getting 1 wire per plate. It's just, it gets so expensive so fast. So, there's a few machines that we're going to make before we start bulk crafting stuff. So, okay, so there's that. And then one other thing that I'm going to need to make real quick, because we're actually going to have to make vacuum tubes for real this time. Like, actually have to make them ourselves. So let me get 2 more steel plates. I'm already thinking that these are 1 for 1 for some reason. Okay, and we're going to have to make glass tubes, which we can also make this right here now that we've got the wire mill. You get 4 of these per copper wire. So we can make the copper wire, but then we can turn it into the fine copper wire and make it go even further that way. But anyways, the glass tubes, we're going to need liquid glass, or glass dust is the method that we're going to go, with a ball mold. So this right here, we'll go ahead and craft that. And there we go, there's that. And you can make this with a pulverizer if you want. I'm just going to do it this way because we don't actually get any, like, we don't really get any secondaries. And I need to use up that mortar, honestly, because it's just kind of in the way right now. But let's go ahead and we're going to get this stuff smelting up, and we're going to be making our glass tubes. And then while that's running, let's go get ourselves some copper, and we're going to make our first bits of that fine wire. So this is another way to make your resources go really, really far early on, because we're going to be making a lot of these glass things, and this copper will go extremely far doing it this way. So we make our copper wires, we're getting 2 per ingot, and then we go ahead and process that down even more. You can see it is using a little bit of energy, so I may need to watch that, because I don't think we're going to be able to craft all of these before it runs out. But basically we're making the wires go even further this way. So maybe I'll craft like 1 more craft, and actually we'll just leave those copper wires as copper wires. That'll be fine. There we go. And there's our glass tubes. Alright. And 16 for 4 ingots of copper. Whereas before, I was having to craft the plates at 3 ingots for 2, and then turn them into 1-to-1 copper wires. So it's way cheaper. Just the wire mill. And then once we get 1-for-1 plates, it's going to be even better. It's going to be wonderful. So we'll go ahead and get, there's 3 vacuum tubes. What am I out of? Paper. So, because I need 1 more. That's fine. Which we can actually take books and turn them into paper. So that's kind of useful. Okay, now I think we've got everything for this. I'm going to have to make 2 of these small gears. And then I'm going to have to make, well, I need 4 10 cables. I'm just going to go ahead and turn all these into 10 cables. And then we're going to have to get a couple steel rods. I'm going to have to make a new file, it looks like. Okay, there we go. I'm just going to make it out of iron because we're not going to be using this too much longer, I don't think. So there we go. There's 4 of those. And then we need to get 2 of these electric pistons, which will complete a task. That's one of the things that we had to make for this. We only need 1 of them. So, and then we're going to need the integrated logic circuits. There's 3 of those. And then we'll get our basic bending machine. Oops. Bender, we weight bender. We get a 16 red alloy plates. So we'll go ahead and take that. And I'm just going to dump those into there. And if we take a look at the basic bending machine, it's used to make a few things, like there's buckets. You get 4 buckets for 12 iron plates. But then you can also make empty sails. But plates, we can now make 1-to-1 on those. And then you can also make, these sheets as well, which will allow us to make some things cheaper. For example, there was something that we were making before, right? Well, there's some things that can take sheets instead of other things that it will make it a little bit cheaper. But the big thing is the plates. We'll be able to produce plates 1-to-1, which will be super useful. We'll go ahead and place that down right there. There we go. It's got power. This other integrated logic circuit, what we're going to do with this is we're going to turn it into a programmed circuit. And then what we can do with this, if we take a look at the bending machine, to make, you can see that's configuration 1 to make the buckets. I think the plates are all configuration 0, I want to say. So for example, iron plate, yeah, configuration 0. But if you ever need to change this, you can just, I can set this to configuration 1. And then I can set it down back to configuration 0. So you really only need one of these until we get into automation, right? So we'll just put that into there. That way we can make plates even cheaper. So if I want a copper plate, I can drop that in there. It doesn't take but a second. And then there's a copper plate. 1 ingot per plate. Awesome. So now things are a little bit cheaper. Now there's one other machine that I want to make that's going to make our lives a bit cheaper. And that is, I want to make the lathe. Now there's also, you can also make the cutting saw. The cutting saw can also be used for the same purpose. And what I want to make, where do we get 2 stone gears from? I don't know. But anyways, what I want to make is rods easier. But what the lathe's going to allow us to do is it's going to allow us to make, of course we can make sticks here with just 1 wood plank. We can take wood and turn it into sticks. They're long sticks, and then wood pulp. But the big things that we're going to be making is this right here. We're going to be able to make rods with just 1 ingot. We're going to get 2 of them instead of doing 1-to-1 and needing a file and all that. So I want to go ahead and make this. And it's actually not that bad. We're going to need a couple integrated logic circuits. We're going to need an electric motor, another electric piston. We're going to need 310 cables and a diamond. It's really not that bad. I'm going to get this stuff together. We've made all this before, and I'll be back once I get this ready to go. Okay, so here's our basic lathe. Yay! And I also set this up. Basically the stuff that we're using for a lot of our Greg Tech crafts, we'll dump it in here, and then we've got some crafting tables that all access that inventory. So, and then I threw some more around here. Just because. Okay, so we got our basic lathe. Let's go plug this thing up real quick. And we are going to set this, I'll tell you what, we're going to move our alloy smelter. And we're going to set the alloy smelter up like right here. And yeah, it can exhaust out the back. That's not a problem. And we're going to put our lathe setting here. Okay. And so then what we can do, let me dump this in here. I know this is a mess. We're going to be sorting all this. It's not going to stay like this. But right now we just don't have efficient power production, and we're just getting the basics in. Is the main focus today. Let me grab 1 more of these. So now if we take our iron over, or whatever we're using at the time, we can drop it into our lathe, and it's going to start lathing that down. And I'm not sure how many of these we're going to be able to run in one go. It doesn't seem like it's taking that much. But you can see we got 2 iron rods out of that. So it's going to allow us to get double rod output per ingot, which of course is very, very nice. So maybe not, it looks like it's going to eat through our steam at a pretty decent rate, but I can just craft these every so often. And like I said, next episode we're going to be kind of expanding, because right now, of course, we're just getting the basics in, and then after we get the basics in, then we'll make better steam production. We will revamp our tree farm so that it's not broken. And then we'll also redo the entire ore processing system so we're getting more output. And it's going to be kind of a setup where we need filters and all that, and we're going to have multiple machines. This will be our first time where we get to go really, really crazy with some automation and stuff. So, okay, so now that we've got that stuff, the last thing I want to make this episode, and this is going to pretty much, it's going to make our ore processing a little bit manual, but I'd like to get the new and improved basic macerator. And I believe there's actually a quest for this one, right? Yes, basic macerator. Awesome. Okay, so the basic macerator is a whole lot of just, it's basically almost, actually it is the exact same ingredients as the lathe, just laid out a little bit differently. So give me just a minute while I get this stuff together, and I will be back here in just a moment. Okay, so now we can get our basic macerator. There we go. And quest complete, quest complete. Apparently there's 2 of them for that. For this one, we get 32 green sapphire dust. We'll go ahead and take that. The other one, I'm not sure. Probably in the, is it metallurgy? Yeah, basic macerator. Then they want us to get crushed iron ore and crushed ruby ore to finish that quest. Okay, well, I don't know about the ruby ore right now, but we will do the iron ore. So let's go ahead, and what we're going to do is we're going to pull off this whopper, this chest, and this is actually the very first machine that we can just remove. We're not going to use the steam macerator anymore. That thing is done. We will still plug it back up. I'm going to leave it for like kind of a memorial to steam power, but we're not actually going to be using this stuff. I'll still have it plugged up and everything, and we'll make steam for it. But anyways, now that we've got our macerator. Okay, the basic macerator, I was thinking of the pulverizers. We don't get pulverizers until later, though. I don't think there's a... Yeah, there's not one until we get to EV power. That's when we get the byproducts. For some reason, I was thinking that the basic macerator would give us byproducts. It doesn't. So, yeah. We could, though, we could make the thermal centrifuge. Which is actually fairly cheap to do. Because once we get the thermal centrifuge, like we can take this crushed brown limonite, we can wash it. There is an ore washer. We'll probably just use the cauldron at first so we get everything automated. But then we get the purified brown limonite, and then we could crush that down, say in the forge hammer, and get the purified piles, and then we could centrifuge it. And that's where we can get some secondaries. We get yellow limonite dust. So that's probably, and then this right here, I think, yeah, it still just smelts into 2, but we do get a little bit. But that's something we'll do once we automate. I don't think it's really necessarily worth it at the moment. So I think, since that one doesn't actually give us byproducts, we might leave this here for a minute. 1 second. We'll use the macerator once we start automating the ore processing. But that was my fault. I was thinking that it gave byproducts. To be fair, though, this is only my second real time through Greg Tech, so that's my excuse. That's my excuse. So this one, I believe, still. Let's see. It still produces 8, right? I think it does. Yeah, it produces 8 crushed. So it's the same output from these two. So, okay. Well, we'll just leave this system running then until we get the new ore processing system set up. So I'll just set this whole little system back up for now. But we are going to be changing up the whole ore processing system to where we actually have centrifuges and stuff in the line fairly soon. That's why I don't think I'm going to process like all my materials at the moment, but I will process down some of them. But anyways, next episode, I think what we're going to do is we're going to start moving into steam, basically overhauling steam production so we got more steam output. Because once we get that in place, then we can kind of expand. And I can get machines set up and just totally get rid of all the steam stuff. I don't know if we're going... I'm going to give it some thought and take a look. I don't know if we're going to get rid of the Astral Sorcery tree farm first before we do that. Because this thing, I mean, it can't really run very effectively. But I also have 64 stacks of low-grade charcoal. And at the same time, we're going to be making better charcoal soon. So I don't know for sure. We'll see. But anyways, I want to get steam overhauled. And so we have enough steam. And then once we get that in place, then we'll do our new ore processing system, which will have filters and all that. Because we're going to start needing to use the autoclave. We're going to need things washed and purified and all that stuff. Well, washed and purified is kind of the same thing, but... That's okay. But anyways, and we're going to have stuff going different places, okay? This is when we actually start getting into Greg Tech processing. So, but anyways, and then we'll also have this stuff being auto-compressed because we don't want to have to be having to manually compress it anymore either. So, Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. If you did, as always, be sure and hit that like button and go ahead and subscribe if you're not already. Stay updated with when new videos come out, and I hope to see you guys next time. So until then, as always, do take care, stay safe. I'll see you guys then.